welcome to RPG Book Club Longcast, a podcast where we play an itty-bitty bit of a biggy-big video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm David Bernard Houck.
And I'm a lesbian.
And today we will be playing the fourth main quest of Lightning Returns Final Fantasy XIII. No, you didn't miss an episode. Number 3, gameplay-wise, makes sense to do it last, so we're doing it last. And we're doing 4 today.
Yeah, this is the third episode of the series, but it is the fourth.
It's the 4th episode, 4th thing, but it's the third quest that we're covering.
Yeah, third quest, but it is quest number 4 according to the menu.
Yes.
That's what I meant to say, excuse me.
Before we get to all of that, our top 3 this week is our top 3 media properties that we have never consumed but totally respect and might even call ourselves a fan of, even though we don't eat it.
As usual, question to be interpreted loosely.
Yes. So I want to start off because it's the big elephant in the room, and I love the idea of Soulsborne games. They are so cool. I applaud everyone that does it. I agree that they're all the best. I think I'm content with just never ever actually getting around to playing one.
They're so good.
Yeah, they are. And like everything,
I still maintain that I think Sam has a wrong view of how much of an effort it is to play these games. You could just play them instead of whatever other game you're going to play, but that's okay.
No, I'm not saying, I think they will be too hard for me. I see all the stuff, and I see how they are, and I know they won't actually be too hard, and I know that the game believes in me the same way that Celeste believes in me, and all of those things that are super cool and awesome. And yet, I just want to play a game about, like, anime girls talking to each other and having big emotional feelings, and I think I will do that instead.
Dark Souls. Like I said, you seem to have a very incorrect opinion on Dark Souls. That you don't think that that's what it is. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'm just joking.
Another one that I thoroughly enjoy, but don't even really know what it's about. I just know like its vibes. So much so that I bought a t-shirt of it, and I get stopped frequently because actual fans of it will be like, oh, dude, I love your t-shirt. And then I have to say, I know nothing about this. But Jujutsu Kaisen is a super popular anime that's on right now. And the reason that I love it is it is a shonen battle anime that is about being a shonen battle anime, the same way that like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z are basically interchangeable. Like it's just about watch some dudes fight, except it can't be baby's first shonen battle anime because it expects you to expect it to be a Dragon Ball Z or a Naruto, and it like will in a good way twists on that constantly, and everyone that's watches it is like, wow, it's so good. The fact that like it's basically, and again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know the particulars, but basically it's like the first arc, you're like, oh, okay, here's the martial arts tournament arc that's going to be all of the things, and instead of that, you get the like Majin Buu eats the entire world and everything is dead and you have to fight back from nothing arc. And it's like those sorts of things where you think you're going to be fed this tasty thing that you're familiar with, and they give you this other thing that's not unlike something you're familiar with. It just twists your expectations a lot, and that sounds really cool, and I really want to eventually watch it, but it's not like high on my to be watched list at all. It just sounds dope.
Here's one of my answers. Oh no, what's it called? God damn it. Not Sentai. What's the category of things that are Sentai?
Tokusatsu.
Yeah, all Tokusatsu. That's my answer. Tokusatsu fucking rules. It's all the best shit in the goddamn world, and I've watched almost 0 of it.
Yeah.
So that's a very easy one for me. The second one is I'm a little cheating because it's like, yeah, I've seen GIFs or clips and they're awesome, so I have a reason why I enjoy these things, but still. All Tokusatsu. Second of all is it's Bernard's turn.
Grand strategy games in general,
like Crusader King stuff.
Yes, I see people post about them and they look so cool. And
Big agree.
but I'm scared of them, and
I think I was just telling my friend recently that I think I will. That's one of the things I will just never ever play them. I'm too stupid for them. Sorry.
Yes, I would love to play them, but I don't think I will ever make the time to learn how to play one.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's another one for me? Oh, Riverdale.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Riverdale. I've never seen it, but
I don't know. It's the greatest show of all time. Also Morbius. Joking. I'm not gonna actually joke and say Morbius. We're really slapping a date on these evergreen episodes. No, but Riverdale for real though. Every single thing I hear about it, I'm like, this sounds like it's the greatest show of all time. I'm sure one of these days I'll watch it and then I'll go fucking insane.
Yeah, I've heard literally half the people say this is the worst thing ever. I'm stuck into hate watching it, and then the other half goes, "Dude, this is the worst thing ever, and I'm stuck into hate watching it. You have to watch it." Here's no one is saying this is actually good. They're just saying it's bad in a bad way or bad in a good way.
We have different circles, Sam. No, Riverdale's actually good. Apparently. But at any rate, no. Here's the thing. It's not just that it's actually good. From my Twitter timeline and knowing my friends and my exact circle of acquaintances and friends and comrades and people I know in various ways or not, and knowing their taste and who they are as human beings, I've been able to perfectly triangulate exactly what Riverdale is conceptually and tonally and vibe-wise, based purely on, again, the sort of subtractive method based on every single person I know and what their opinion is of it. So based on all of that, I've been able to calculate precisely how much I love Riverdale, and it's amazing.
Similarly,
also, someone called it Twin Peaks for idiots. So
that segues directly into my last one. Is I plan on eventually watching Twin Peaks, but if I am consuming another piece of media and the synopsis is like, oh, this is like Twin Peaks or inspired by Twin Peaks, I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be good. I'm going to love it. I know that Twin Peaks is my exact sort of shit, but I've literally couldn't even really tell you what it's about at all. But like when Gravity Falls was coming around and they're like, dude, it's like Twin Peaks for kids, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna love the shit out of Gravity Falls, and I did. So it's kind of like I don't want to ever read Lovecraft, but Lovecraftian horror is like my favorite kind of horror. So if it's a Lovecraftian thing, I'm all about it. So I guess that's my honorable mention is Lovecraft.
Bernard, what do you got?
Similarly to what Meta Grace said, specifically Kamen Rider looks so good.
Kamen Rider is so fucking good.
Like the GIFs I've seen look amazing, and I follow people on Twitter who say it's great. It's been going for decades, and it looks so good.
I just realized I cheated. My girlfriend made me watch one Kamen Rider film, so I actually have experience, not just Kamen Rider, but tokusatsu shit in general. So I cheated. Oh well, I already said it.
Yeah, I technically am wearing a Power Rangers shirt right now, so I also cheated by agreeing about tokusatsu. But I want to be able to watch more. The thing that sucks is I can't watch subtitled things with the kids because they require more than zero attention. So I only have a couple of things per night, and my current subtitled only obsession is The Legend of the Galactic Heroes. It's fantastic. You should watch it. It's on High Dive, I think.
And my last thing is, again, very broad, much broader than when I said grand strategy games, but just Indian cinema in general, which that's very broad because there's so many movies and so many that are supposed to be great, and I have not watched them, but I want to.
Yeah. Me and Summer recently decided that we were going to try and sample cultures that aren't just Japan and the United States. And we've been watching a lot of K-dramas, but we also watched a Chinese drama, watching things in Spanish, but we have not done our Indian cinema yet, but I've been building a list mostly based off Polygon because they're constantly talking about good Indian cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I finally thought of my third one. Wait, did I say that? And then it immediately dropped out of my fucking brain. What the hell's wrong with me? Final Fantasy XI.
I've played a bit of Final Fantasy XI. It's so good.
Here's the thing. Bernard says it rules, obviously. But also, here's why. Very simple. Well, first of all, it's got a great soundtrack. I've heard. A lot of that's probably owe out to other people. Look, it's Final Fantasy. Every Final Fantasy game is good. But also, it's like, it seems like it's simultaneously all the best things you get with modern MMOs or like FF14 with like actually just really great stories that aren't the bullshit that Blizzard writes. But also, it's like old school bullshit MMOs before they made everything way more like user friendly and nice. And I actually vastly prefer that kind of shit. Even if I don't have the time or energy for it. So yeah, no, FF11 looks like it rules so hard. I bet it's a million times better than FF14, even though I love FF14. All right, that's it.
That's it. Let's listen to some Lightning Returns music and then talk about our Lightning Returns plot.
All right, Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy XIII, Part 4. Part 4, To Make the World Lesbians. Oh wait, I used that for the subpart. Whatever, fuck it. Light arrives in Arizona, America, also known as the Dead Dunes. It's not the most populated region of Nova Cresselia. In fact, not a single person gets off at this stop. A station worker lazing nearby waves us down. He explains that there ain't much reason to be here, just a whole lot of nothing, except I suppose some ruins for the sort of indecent folk what go looking in ruins. Lightning says, what's in 'em? Our transportation worker, continuing to lounge with the laziness befitting a teamster, says, oh, you know, the holy Clavis, summoning the souls of the dead, opening the door to the afterlife, things of that nature. Bunch of bullshit, but the bandits in the order go nuts for that shit. Lightning, knowing a major story MacGuffin when she sees one, decides to go get the Clavis. Now remember, our goal is to save the souls of people, save the souls of major people, perhaps people from previous games in the series. They have big needs and desires, and we need to help them to save their souls. Nothing about going and getting some random thing called a Clavis, but again, she knows a MacGuffin when she sees one. Also, she can go into the menu and see that she's now started Quest 4-1. So, and then also Hope, as always, chimes in immediately to explain what we just learned and tell us to go get the Clavis as if we hadn't already fucking figured it out because he talked way too much. So, we can explore this place all the way up, and in usual fashion, our beloved guide, me, takes the most roundabout route possible. In the desert, we got ruins. One of them, a bandit guard, won't let us in, so we know that's the main one. Others, we can go in a little bit, or even all the way. At one point, Lightning finds an iPad. We also find some Cruxus crystals hovering around in random spots. There's a huge... They're like on the field, and you click them, and it's like you got a lightning crux, and we're like, I don't know what this is. The plot hasn't told me to get these yet, but like, sure. There's also a huge tornado that blocks off two different routes. Sandstorm, excuse me. One leading to the bandit camp, and the other leading to a lighthouse. We can get to the bandit camp the long way, though, so we go the long way, and on the way, we may or may not also find a dead person who's related to a side quest. The lighthouse, by the way, also related to... Wait, no. It's not related to a side quest. It's related to a different main quest. So I gotta go do that. Also, we got cactuar statues. Just like in FF13 too, this game has fast travel little cactuar buddies to make up for a lack of chocobos. Oh yeah, also, some occasional NPCs or Hope will sometimes mention a bandit leader who's like really hot, and also really into getting the Clavis, haha. So at any rate, at some point we get to, that's right, it's the bandit camp. We're greeted by Adonis, who's sort of the vice head honcho around here, and how would y'all characterize Adonis?
He's the person that is always talking a little louder than they need to in public spaces. That's Adonis.
That's good. I would qualify that he's great and we love him.
Yes.
Whereas usually that's a negative trait. Yeah. Okay. Have y'all seen that TikTok where it's like, oh god, what's the name of that one particular kind of gym? Anyway, it's like it's like POV. You just walk into this gym and it's like the really buff guy, and he's like, "Oh, yo, what's up, brother? What brings you in today?"
I don't watch TikToks,
dude.
I see a TikTok, I avoid it.
That is a lie. You have sent me a TikTok about the gay man drinking boba, which is an all-time best TikTok.
At any rate, Adonis is fucking weird, is what I'm saying. He's like, the dialogue that he says is very much like, oh, we're the bandit gang, we don't trust you, but he says it in like the most chipper, upbeat voice possible. And it's just like he's just happy to be here. That's what he comes off as. He's just really happy to be here. I really like Adonis. I don't know what the fuck his deal is even supposed to be. Anyway, we tell him we're looking for the Clavis. He says, that's your right. But if you want any info, you go. Oh, yeah. So she's like, I'm looking for the Clavis. Can you tell me anything about it? And he's like, no. Basically, he's like, go fuck yourself. But also, since you're not a bandit, you don't have to follow bandit rules. So I'm not going to be mad at you. But then he says you got to join our bandit gang. So we got to go do a quest. So remember that sandstorm? We got to make it stop. Lightning is like, stop the wind. Do you want a bandit or a holy woman? Adonis, with I think a bit of a wink, is like, well, of course a human can't control the weather. Anyway, go fix the weather, please. So this quest is pretty simple. We have to go kill a monster, and it's literally the turtle shell boy we've already fought dozens of probably in order to get here. It's not even a different version of it. It drops another Crucius crystal, even though we've probably already found some. Adonis is like, hell yeah, nice. Now you got to put it into the magic monument. Only those chosen by God can do that. So then we do that. And Adonis is like, what? And dear listener, I absolutely cannot tell if his ignorance is feigned or not. I cannot figure it out.
It's 100% feigned. There is a conversation in unskippable dialogue where he says that Fayng watched you get off the thing and has been expecting you. And
yes,
Fayng
but he says that the boss was right after all, implying that he didn't believe that Fayng was right about us being the goddess.
Who can say?
Yeah. Some of the dialogue implies that he wasn't sure if we were who we are or not, but what I'm really talking about here is his voice performance. It's very bizarre to me. Anyway, I was gonna not say who it is, but it's been obvious. I've already made like 2 lesbian jokes here. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, clavicle. Yeah. Okay. Are y'all into clavicles?
What is a clavicle?
Collarbone.
I enjoy clavicle, but lesbians are my type, so that's actually points in the lesbian column.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure because lesbians go nuts for collarbones, and I wasn't sure if it was just a lesbian thing or not, and it clearly very much is because what you just said, Sam, was way too muted. Okay, cool. I'm glad to note. I always assumed it was lesbians thing, but wasn't actually like I was like I should probably ask a non-lesbian if they also give a shit about collarbones. Anyway, Adonis is like, wow, you must have godlike powers. I guess the boss was right after all. I didn't expect this. So let me go meet the boss. Chapter 2. You know who the fuck it is. That's right. It's Fahng. Like Vanille, her accent is slightly more normal now. She's arguably even more cool and hot, possibly being extra performative. In fact, she kind of does seem to be like fronting a little bit. she's not being supernatural. She says, unlike Lightning, who is being supernatural, she says that she knows everything about all the god shit. You don't have to explain it. She used to be with, quote, the God Squad in Luxurion, aka the Order. She stuck around for Vanille's sake, but she had to leave to go find the Clavis. And Light is just who she wanted to see. Again, Fang's doing this whole, like, she said something like, oh, let's work together just like old times. And it's just sort of strangely distant and businesslike, which implies either she's hiding something or she suspects that we're hiding something. Not the first time someone has suspected Lightning of being up to no good, even though we, as playing Lightning, know that she's not up to no good. Anyway, turns out Fayng joins the party. Turns out they implemented the mechanic of having someone in your party for this game, after all. It's really cool. I love having Fayng in the party. She, I don't know if y'all remember, but in the earlier games, her main thing is she's really good at debuffs. So, well, she's related to debuffs, let's put it that way, in addition to hitting really hard. So she has some skills where if you debuff an enemy, she has moves like, what's it called? What's it called when you lower someone's defense? Deprotect. She has like Deprotect Breaker or Deprotect Chaser, actually, which is funny.
Deprotect Hunter is actually, which isn't funny.
Oh, okay. Well, there is a move called Deprotect Chaser. Maybe it's a move that we can get. Anyway,
different move that she uses, but I know I saw Deprotect Hunter.
Yeah. So basically, if you deprotect someone, she'll do extra damage against them. So that means, a lot of us debuffing enemies and then her going and killing them. That's cool because if you recall, we're using that strat where we're doing Metaguard to get free heals, and that can take forever. It can get a little boring just sitting in battle healing before you kill the weak enemy. But now we can heal while she takes care of the enemies. It's pretty cool. Yeah, did y'all do any interesting strat stuff with Fahng, or just kind of like what I just said?
I hadn't been using Deprotect and Deshell, really, but the UI told me that that's what I should do with Fayng, and they sell a, what do they even call them in this game? Garb?
Yeah.
I just think of them as fashions. They sell a fashion that has Deprotect and Deshell on it. So I equipped that, and I've been using it, and I was like, wow, I should have been doing this all along.
You definitely should have. It's a big deal. Especially since how damage soaking the enemies are, right? I actually rejiggered my garbs in a major way this week, but I'm going to save it for my mem moms. But it has to do with to do with this. We get a lot of good fucking treasure this week that really opened up the strategic space. Yeah. Oh, by the way, did either of y'all do anything besides just doing the main quest?
I did a ton of side quests all in one day.
Nice.
I did the main quest and a ton of side quests.
What area did you focus on?
The Dead Dunes.
Oh, the Dead Dunes. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I got the little robot his fuel, but apparently not enough of them. So that was the only thing that I did. Because I played it in one fell swoop since
that's
about
fine.
2 o'clock this afternoon.
I always asked that before. So since this one doesn't really give you any specific like pre-programmed in downtime, I realized I should probably just ask if y'all went off the path or not.
Also, I did side quests in Yusnon.
Nice. I need to loop back there. At any rate, yeah. This area doesn't have a million side quests, but it's got a decent number, and a lot of them open up as you like go, like not right away. And yeah, you get a lot of really good treasure. One fun thing is that this area gives you so much EP for a lot of the enemies that I'm looking at my menu right now. You start at 6 a.m., right? I finished the entire quest chain, and it's now 3 p.m.
Yeah, that's exactly where I am too. It's 3 p.m.
Frankly, amazing. My time was stopped almost the entire fucking game, basically. Sometimes you use up all your EP, and then you have to actually let the time go for a few minutes, and then you find one of those enemies that gives you 2 entire EP, and then you're back in business. Anyway, so we get to the ruin. So now Fahng seems to be opening up a little bit emotionally. She says it's been ages since I've had some fun. Light then asks, and when I say opening up emotionally, I'm again referring mostly to the voice performance. I mean, she still doesn't really say much. Light asks again, why are we getting the Clavis though? She says it's Vanille who needs it. oh, we're following up on that scene from a few weeks ago. When they woke up from Crystal Times 13 years ago, Vanille found out that she can now hear the souls of the dead. It's a huge burden on her, etc., etc. We all remember this cutscene. The Order wants to use Vanille and her power to fulfill their goals, which Lightning figures is suck up all the souls with the Clavis and then save them. And now we see the reason why Fayng is frontin'. Lightning is an agent of Bunavelza, which means that she's structurally aligned with the Order, whether she realizes it or not. But Light doesn't even, she still doesn't really know what the Order's deal is, or why she may or may not be aligned with them. So she asks Fayng for elaboration, and Fayng, in classic narrative storytelling contrivance way, declines. She's like, hey, we gotta get going. She's like, we're here to get the damn Clavis before the Order does, okay? So this dungeon is really fucking big. There's a lot going on with it. The game actually has decided to have a real-ass dungeon for us for once, which is surprising. It's a lot of running around. It's actually a complex enough maze that you do things such as get lost or not know where to go or have to consult your map and then think carefully about navigation, which is, I like that shit, and it hasn't happened in this entire, I don't know, series. So I thought it was really nice. I had a really good time. It's cool because half the areas in this game are mostly town, so it's mostly running around talking to people, and the other two areas are mostly doing fighting. And then here we have dungeon crawling. So the game's really got it's got a lot of variety, actually. I enjoyed it. There's a few gimmicks, though, that I want to comment on. And the reason I'm mentioning it here and not in Mim-Moms is because it matters narratively. So it's got a cool little narrative gameplay synergy. So there's a bunch of magic doors. I don't mean like the time lock doors. I just mean that there's these magic doors that you can only open if you happen to be, I don't know, the savior, and also have a crux. And you need to use them to get into the fucking ruins, and at various points throughout the ruins. But also, a number of them will lead back up to the surface. There's various points throughout the desert where it's like, oh, this is another way to get into the ruins, but only if you open the door from the inside. So they're sort of doing like a Dark Souls style, loop around shortcut. It's like, oh, I gotta have the dungeon. Oh, and here's a shortcut back up to the top. But here's the thing. Every time we open a door, the dungeon becomes more frequented by NPCs. Mm-hmm. So now the bandits that were all in the bandit hideout, now the bandits are just walking around exploring the dungeon, having dialogue about ooh, look at this, or ooh, let's go over here and get some treasure, which is really cool. There's still bad guys, but it changes the tenor of the place into a much more social space. But finally, opening up the doors means that the Order can now come in. So it's made clear that, okay, we need to open the door with our lightning power to get the Clavis, but once we do that, the Order's also going to be after the Clavis. So this is a dangerous thing, so we got to go fast. Not literally go fast, of course. Yeah, so that's
literally go fast because there is a time limit. Because
yes, but that's because the whole game's on a time limit, not because it's not like the Order shows up at some point. Is what I'm saying. It's not a particularly timed event. There's also this whole thing where there's doors that open or shut based on the hour, and sometimes it's just a minor inconvenience. You just go around a different way, but other times it's oh, I gotta think about how to get through here. Did y'all find this fun? I found it fun and not annoying, personally.
I only found it annoying because I was following the guide, and the guide is expecting you to be doing things in a particular order. So when they would give me they're like, okay, you should be on a even hour now, so go left, right, up, down. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm on an odd hour, so let me check my map and find a way around it. And then there's one particular spot where you have to, the only way to go forward is to be on a particular hour, and I missed that several times. So I went back to my guide to try and go around, and then I would come back and miss it again. And only that one particular door where you have to be on, I think it's an odd hour to actually make it to the next part. Only that one was annoying. The rest of them, it was cool.
When the UI told me about what was going to happen, I was like, oh God, I don't want to deal with this. But then it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like most of the time it doesn't matter. It's like, I want to go there. There's a few different ways to get there. But once you get to the very deepest depths of the dungeon, there's a few parts you have to like really use your noggin once or twice. Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty fun. Also, like, none of the enemies are hard, like, at fucking all, and you get lots of really good loot. So it's a good time. Anyway, so chapter 3, to make the world lesbians. While exploring, Light talks with Hope and is like, damn, this Clavis must be a really big deal, because it was even more important to Fayng than, I don't know, being a lesbian with Vanille. Of course, what Light doesn't understand is that the most important part of being a lesbian is suffering and being apart from the person you love, because you think endlessly sacrificing your own happiness for her benefit is like better than actually being with the person. So no, Fahng did not give up on being gay for Vanille, but rather is like, all right, so here's the thing about lesbians. All right, when lesbianism turns itself as will against the world of appearance, then that system is lowered to an abstract totality. Okay, it's become one aspect of the world which opposes another one. Inspired by the urge to realize itself, it enters into tension against the other. The inner self-contentment and completeness has been broken. What was inner light is now becoming consuming flame turned outwards. The result is that as the world becomes lesbianism becomes worldly. So what it struggles against on the outside is its own inner deficiency, and in that struggle it falls precisely into those defects which it fights, yet it can overcome those defects only by falling into them. So in conclusion, individual lesbianism always carries a double-edged demand. One edge turned against the world, the other against lesbianism itself. A demand and an action contradicting one another. As Deucalion, according to the legend, cast stones behind him in creating human wings, so lesbianism casts its regard behind it when its heart is set on creating a world. I need all of you to understand that this is not a bit. I'm 100% serious about all of this. Anyway, that's just going on with Fahng.
I'm sure that's very funny if I knew what you were referencing.
It is funny, but also...
Okay, I'm sure it is.
But also it is a completely accurate interpretation of what of what's going on here is what I'm trying to say. So, if anyone's listening to this and you feel like clicking the back button a couple times, listening to it again, you might learn something. So, eventually, we figure out that in order to open the big final door, you need to get 3 iPads. You might already have 1 or even 2. So you use the iPads to activate these big murals to get lore. Warning, the lore is confusing. So, lore number 1. Sorry, let me rephrase this. The lore of these giant murals. They're fucking beautiful. They have insanely cool art. I don't even know how to explain the art style. It's just like really elaborate, beautiful art. And you can, I bet if I were to inspect them very closely, I could probably see a lot of interesting stuff about this game's lore. But it was a bit overwhelming for me, so I couldn't really figure it out. So, lore number 1. Here's what we learn. Etro. Y'all remember Etro?
Yeah.
She's the goddess of death because she died. And her blood was used by the trickster Lindsay to create humans. Now, Lindsay has been mentioned, as far as I know, 1 time in the entire game's trilogy. It was in one lore. It was in one data log entry in the previous game that I did actually bring up in our final episode. I only brought it up because it was the name of a goddess that I'd never heard of before.
I'm pretty sure Lindsay is also mentioned at one point in Final Fantasy XIII 1.
There we go. So, I don't know who the fuck Lindsay is, but it's some kind of trickster god as characterized by Fahng. So, even though Etro died at the end of the last game, her death also created the whole world. So she also died at the beginning of existence. I don't know if this is the same death, if this one death happened if this death happened at the beginning of the universe, even though we just saw it, or if it is in fact 2 separate deaths. I don't know that.
I mean, we killed her while time traveling, so it could literally be anything.
Oh, well, I was implying not really a time travel thing, more of a metaphysical, those deaths were circumstantially the same thing. But yeah, that also could be the case. I don't know. Mural number 2. Humanity was created from the blood of Etro, as we just said. The art here is literally she's on a fainting couch type thing, the blood spilling out, and then the blood turns into these little upright walking human forms. It's insanely cool. But then we learned something really important, and this is a big fucking deal. So someone, I forget who, says, we weren't made to live forever. We were made to live, serve the will of God, and then die. But now, it's like dying has become an option. Remember, people can still die if they go get fucked up, but they don't die of old age. But also, we no longer multiply and fill the land. I want to note again the phrase multiply and fill the land. That's Bible shit. Here, Fahng postulates that reincarnation is real, or rather it used to be. Because it's not just that no one dies, it's that no one's born anymore either. If reincarnation's real, but no one's born, then that means if you die, there's no new body for your soul to go to. So here we get a really dark twist on immortality that I've never seen before, which is that, like, it's not immortality, it's permadeath, where that did not exist in this universe until now. Up until now, the soul lasted forever through rebirth, but now the soul lasts as long as it lasts, and then, I don't know, that creates a lot of weird feelings in me, and I don't quite know what to make of it. It's just like you're past the point of no return for history. You know, it's like an even more ultimate cosmic end state than we've seen previously in the games. Whatever. I don't really know what to make of it, but I did think it was a pretty big bombshell that may or may not end up mattering. Mule number 3. We meet Bonavelza. So at this point, Lightning is reading, and I don't know what she's reading the mural, but I don't know if it's implied that this is like Bonavelza's words, or if it just says this on the mural and we don't know who says this. But it says, death defiles the soul, but salvation will purify it. So then we learn from, what's her name, Fahng, talking, that Vanille is going to perform the soul song, which is the ceremony the order needs for the Clavis for, in order to make everything, quote, neat and tidy. The order says they're going to put the dead to rest and provide a salve for their souls. Vanille has to do it to atone for the past, but Fayng is like, fuck what Vanille wants. No one asked her, bitch. I'm gonna do what I want to do for my girlfriend. Because that's how things go. So they're doing this thing that games do again, where the bad guys are clearly doing a nasty trick. The order is saying, let's gather up the souls and save them. But Fahng is implying it's something sinister. I think at this point it's pretty obvious, not a spoiler, that what the order is going to do is gather up all the souls and then like obliterate them or enslave them or something bad, right? But they don't say this at this point. So we're wondering what's going on here. And again, Fahng could just say it. She just doesn't. So anyway, we get to the end of the dungeon. The inner sanctum looks sick. The graphics are super cool. And there it is, the mother box. I mean, the Holy Clavis. It is all glowy, and it looks sort of like an Ark of the Covenant adjacent thing. And inside is stupendous energy. But, oh no, the Order's Secutors have arrived. I forgot to use the word Secutor, but it just means they're sword guys. Fayng raises her spear and is going to destroy the Clavis. She says the Clavis is a curse. And then she says the reason it's a curse is, she reveals the big twist. Why is the Clavis actually bad? What's the Order up to? It'll kill Vanille. So yeah, Fang's just still on her bullshit. She opposes the Order because she doesn't want Vanille to sacrifice herself for the greater good. Regardless of whether Vanille wants to or not. Vanille still thinks that she needs to atone for her sins and all that stuff. And then the Order is like, hey, have a boss battle. So we have a big boss battle. Do y'all have any trouble with this one?
I didn't really have trouble with it. It still took me a while. I still got a score of 1. But I mean, I didn't feel like I was going to lose.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of trouble with it, but I did burn through 4 of my 6 Phoenix Downs because I did it about 40 minutes ago. And we were already supposed to start recording, so I did not try to do it well.
Yeah, this one was pretty fun. Again, I said before, the skill curve of this game is very weird, so I didn't have trouble with it. But it had a lot of attacks, and they all had weird timings for the perfect block, but actually very doable once you get them. Like pretty big windows. It's just like, you know, it goes to hit you and you think it's gonna hit you, so you instinctively hit the button, but then like it's like a little backflip and then it hits you, right? So it's like you pay attention and you're like, oh, here's what it's doing. It also It also does hella status effects, which is fun. At some point in this game, I was having to actually start to give a shit when I get hit with status effects. It wasn't during this boss. It was during a strong non-boss enemy. But this guy does it too. Yeah, I don't know. It's a fun boss, whatever. So, we beat it. And as you'd expect, once the boss's battle's over, the Order took the Clavis. And they sealed us in the door. Lightning finally asks Fayng, what is the fucking deal? Fayng says what I at least assumed earlier. Yes, the Order is going to use the Clavis to suck all the souls into it, and then instead of doing something good like, I don't know, sending them to the next world or whatever, they're going to just fucking destroy all of them. Whatever that like cosmic obliteration of the soul is, that's what they're going to do. Vanille is fooled into thinking that's the only way to give them rest. Vanille is going to sacrifice herself, ... for a lie, which, throw back to Final Fantasy X, right? Kind of cool. So then Fayng is like, if Lightning had never shown up, then the Order never would have been able to get this thing, but Lightning did show up, so that's why Fang's been so weird and cagey this whole time. It's like, Fayng isn't going to like say, Lightning, I'm going to kill you. It's more like, okay, Lightning, I know that you're probably going to go and get this Clavis because it's like your mission from God, so I'm going to go with you to then explain why we should destroy it and not give it to the Order. So that's why Fang's been weird this whole time, because she thought maybe the Lightning was just going to be like, hey, Order, here's the Clavis, that kind of thing. But that was not the case, and now they understand each other. A nice little moment. Then Lumina appears. Turns out Lumina was the one who gave the Order the heads up, like, hey, the tomb's open, by the way, go get it. She taunts us some more. I didn't find this interesting. Though she does say that one of those souls that'll be obliterated is Sarah. Just a reminder there. She also gives us the important information that the ceremony will happen on the final day, which makes sense because it's more dramatic that way. Then Lightning says, in quote, Fayng, Vanille is going to die. And Fang's like, geez, you don't you really cut to the chase, don't you? And then Lightning says, I can't save her. I save souls by giving them what they truly wish for. If Vanille truly wishes for death, we gotta let her have it. But then Lightning says that if Vanille doesn't change her mind, that'll happen. But the only one
Vanille's big wish was to have 10 niblet hairballs or something.
The only one who can save her is Fayng. Lightning says, you always have been the only one who can save her. Which is a nice way of just hammering home, yes, this has been extremely lesbian situation from the beginning of the series. We've gotten less and less explicit about it, but it's definitely never been particularly subtle. It's cool. So, that's not on us, is what I'm saying. Vanille's not one of the main 5 plot quests. I'm guessing it's just like the end of the game, right? And it's not our job to save Vanille. We do not have the capacity to. So, they basically talk and they say, see you at the end of the world. Literally, like, okay, maybe you're on day 5 at this point. It's like, okay, well, see you in a week. We'll reconvene and save the day, hopefully. Also, one fun fact is that it turns out that not only does Vanille think that she has to atone by doing this thing, just out of the goodness of her heart, she also does seem to be under the impression that the whole fact that she can now hear all the souls of the dead and is tormented like every minute by them is like God punishing her. I'm not going to belabor the point. We all three of us have said many times our thoughts on everyone in this game series always thinking that they're to blame for things that they're not to blame for. So it's that again. So that's it. The end for the week. We've done 3 of the quests, and now all we gotta do is and then we get a lot of soul juice, right? We get the soul juice from Fayng. At this point, I will say, if you go back to the bandit camp, there are more side quests that you can do. There's quite a few. They're quite fun. And then next week we have 2 final main quests, which are both in the 3rd area we haven't been to, the Wildlands, aka Texas. If you haven't been there yet at all, if you've been playing super by the book, well, we'll have fun next week. That's it. Let's listen to some music.
All right, Mim Moms. What you guys got?
I really enjoyed a lot of the scenes with Lightning and Fang. Just the way they interacted was a little weird, and I just got big dudes rock vibes from it, even though they're not dudes.
Yeah. I'm glad that you thought it was weird too, because I was putting the end of my notes and I was like, maybe this is just me, but they don't have the same dynamic they had in the previous game.
Mm-hmm.
In my previous game, of course, I mean 13-1, where they both were
where they both were in it.
Yeah.
Where they weren't both plot devices in 13-2.
Exactly.
What else do I have? I don't know.
I mean, you did a bunch of side quests. There's one side quest that I thought was really awesome this week, but I don't know if you want to do it. I don't want to step on you, so.
So I did a side quest in Yusnan where this girl is like, hey, I'm a chocobo, and I lost all my friends who are baby chocobos. And Lightning's like, I don't believe you, but I'll find the chocobos. So she goes around, you find all the chocobos in Yusnan, you go back, and the girl is like, thank you. And she turns into a baby chocobo. And Lightning and Hope are just like, what the fuck?
Oh man, you're gonna get a kick out of next week's dumb side quest.
You get the soul juice. Apparently, chocobos have soul juice. And apparently this girl was a chocobo.
Cool.
Wait, I just realized the monsters probably are the same, like, aren't being born or dying either, and that's why you can extinct them in this game.
Ones.
That's why they're you can extinct them. That's cool.
Did you get any of those this time around?
No, I didn't do a damn thing this time around.
I got one of them. Actually, I got two of them. I was going around trying to defeat Niblets for the Diviner side quest. And first I extincted the goblins, and then I extincted the Niblets.
Nice. One of the main quests in the Dead Dunes is so they're getting to the point where they're actually making, like Bernard said, that's actually part of the quest. So one of the Dead Dunes ones is also to kill all the skeletals. And you kill a bazillion skeletals anyway, but then you can kill 2 bazillion in order to complete this quest. So I did that one.
Yeah, I haven't done that one yet. I've killed a lot of skeletons. Strangely for that one, but not the Diviner side quest, it tells you how many you have left. And I think I have like 25 left.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay, so since y'all apparently don't want to do the side quest, so I have 2 memorable ones I'll share. One is Sam, do you mind if I spoil that side quest with the little robot?
Oh, please do. I was very interested in it, but I don't feel like going back to do it.
This side quest is fucking incredible. So you meet in the temple ruins. You meet this little robot named Baktai. The sun is in your hands. He's adorable. I one of those things where I called my girlfriend over. I was like, babe, you got to come look at this little guy. I think he is he the exact same little guy from FF13 too? No, wait, 1. When you were in Erba?
In Final Fantasy XIII, Vanille had said model as a pet. In Final Fantasy XIII-2, multiple Bhaktis loiter around Erba in various time periods. Yes,
I knew it. It's the exact same thing.
So this is the same model of robot.
Guess what? They were good then, and they're good now. I thought they were the same cute little guy.
Yeah.
So he's there, and he's like, hi, I'm running out of fuel. Maybe you can help me. And apparently there's a time limit where if you don't get him enough fuel, he like fucking dies. I'd already found all the Bhakti oil because I had done so much exploring and stuff. And actually, sorry, I just realized I need to switch from the game to my screenshots, because if you're in the quest description, it just tells you what happens, whereas like sometimes you want some actual screenshots because the dialogue's really good or something, right? So anyway, they basically talk about like death, basically, and he's like, yeah, no, robots are immortal, basically. Well, no, a recurring theme in this world that they've mentioned is that humans are immortal, but funny enough, like the things that humans create are not. Normally we think of the other way around. You know, we think of a robot or a machine, a computer, as being theoretically immortal, whereas a human gets old and dies. But if the human doesn't get old and die, then it's like, well, if no one takes care of that machine, then it'll rust and it'll break, So and it's actually become a recurring thing in the game where you'll talk to NPCs. They're like, oh yeah, I haven't had this commodity in like 100 years or whatever. So anyway, we get the fuels and we give it to him. And the reason he needs it is because once we get him all the fuel, we realize that he's outside of this special door, and he only he can open the door for some reason. I forget why. And on the other side of the door is his friends. He's got some friends. They've been waiting for him. He said he was going to go get help, but then he almost ran out of juice. So now he's going to go back and save his friends who have been trapped in this room. And that's where I start going, oh no, this is going to be bad. This is going to make me cry. So sure enough, you go in there and there's a bunch of skeletons on the ground. And then they do one of those tropes. Sam, the thing where the swordsman said he would never use that technique, but then he does?
Mm-hmm.
This is like the opposite of that for me. Instead of me thinking it's amazing and losing my mind, I fucking cry like a baby. I hate the trope where an innocent creature doesn't understand what death is. Or like doesn't understand anything about like the adult world. You know what I mean? Like they just don't get it because they're so innocent. So this guy, like the robot doesn't get it. The robot doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. He's like, he's like, wow, y'all. I think he sees the skeletons and is like, wow, y'all have really lost weight. And then he's like, why aren't y'all moving? And then we have to explain that humans. And then once we explain there's something wrong with them, they're like, oh, it's fine. We'll just fix you up. We'll get you some oil. Lightning has to explain that humans can die, and once they die, they don't undie. And then there's some really sad shit that I'm not going to go and look at, frankly, where they like wrote him a note and they said like, Bhakti, you were our favorite robot. We love you so much. You might not understand what this means, but we're probably dead. But we hope that you can find new masters and have a long and just continue living and find new masters. Like, we love you. And he loves them too. But even though the letter exhorts him to go find new masters, he then dies. He shuts down from sadness. And that's it. Oh, and then soul juice comes out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he and Hope, or she and Lightning and Hope, talk about why the fuck did it have soul juice? Do machines have souls? And then they suggest that perhaps it absorbed the love of his friends as a soul, maybe. And there's really no answer. And that's it. And it was really good. Really good. Really broke my fucking heart. Really, really weird. They just threw that in there while I'm just trying to have a good goddamn time. There's a few other games that do this. I will say they ripped this exact quest, this exact plot from a Dragon Quest game, but I won't say which one, so I don't want to spoil it.
And Fayng says something like, if you don't believe that robot has a soul, fuck you.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. Yeah, so that's that side quest. I don't know. I found it very affecting. Again, like the little innocent creature doesn't know what's happening, and that makes me sad. It's like fucking Fry's dog. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the second thing I wanted to share is that I rejiggered my garbs, and I did something really dangerous, and I just wanted to share because it's cool. There's a garb that's like, I don't know, it's an accessory. And the accessory is like, any magic spell you cast will restore the ATB meters of your other of your passive garbs. But your physical defense is like fucking 0. So I equipped that. And then on a different one, I equipped an accessory that was just like, oh, every time you hit an enemy, your passives get a little bit of no. It's just like this just makes your ATBs go up faster or something. I want to be more aggressive, and then I also changed it where instead of having all my debuffs on one garb, now I have like D-Protect on my physical attack garb. I have D-Shell on my magical attack garb, and then I have a third one that has like slow and something else, D-Brave, actually. I finally got that one. But basically now, if I'm on, if I switch to my magic garb, and then an enemy goes to hit me, I need to either perfect block it or switch to a different garb, because even if I block it, it will fucking annihilate my health bar. And also I had to relearn all my mental patterns of like where my debuffs are, so I'm just like instinctively switching between my shoulder buttons. Once I got the hang of it, it was awesome. So would recommend. It's pretty fun and not really that hard. You just got to develop the muscle memory of, an attack's coming at me, switch garb.
That sounds too scary.
I had a similar like gameplay breakthrough. I didn't get a lot of time to mess with it. Like I was theory crafting it, but one of the DLC garbs is easy mode, but to make it like at least potentially a little bit balanced, its drawback is like minus 75% max HP. So you hit it's like plus 1,000 attack and magic. It is super easy mode, but if you get hit, you're probably dead.
Minus max
dead with it.
or like minus at start of battle?
Minus max. So your max HP for that garb will be like 200, and everything else is in the thousands. But Metagard changes 0.1 ATB for 1 HP. So if it now is a like burst damage, high risk, high reward, but also a like how to heal fast thing, because if you have to heal 300 HP to get to 100 HP,
right, that
can now be 300 seconds instead of 3,000 seconds for the other ones. And so it's like it's high risk, high reward for both damage and healing, where it's like, they're not going to be touching me for a while, or Fang's dealing with them. I'm going to switch to this one. I'm going to get a lot of healing in. But if I'm not quick on switching to it, like I can't even guard on this one. I need to switch to another one and then guard on that one to be able to survive a hit if they're coming. And it's pretty cool. I love playing games on easy so that I can turn my brain off and just do it. But I also like finding ways on easy to make it hard for me, like picking the wrong thing. And now Ginkgo will never have her good personas because I did the wrong thing. But that wrong thing was a lot of fun, so I enjoyed it.
One thing that made me feel like I was smart, but I was actually dumb, is there's a lot of accessories that are like, cast Brave at start of battle, but your HP is reduced by 5%. Cast Faith at start of battle, but your HP is down by 5%. Cast Protect and Shell. Cast Veil and Vigilance. I equipped all of them because I'm like, whatever. I get 30 or 60 or whatever seconds of being amazing. I just fuck everyone up. Here's the thing. That's not max HP. That's just, it knocks HP off of you. Start of the battle. Here's the thing. If you're going through a long dungeon with a bunch of enemies that are actually super easy, that's a terrible thing to do. Yeah. I was losing significantly more health just due to the fact that every time I went into battle, it knocked a chunk of my health off than I was actually getting from the enemies. So I was like, why am I having to heal so much? Why am I always in danger? And eventually I realized I was just being really stupid. And I was like, wait, I don't need to equip these. But if I'm fighting like a boss or some shit, I'll equip all of them.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of being really stupid, let's talk about a really stupid side quest.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So there's a side quest where there's a girl in Houston who's a baton twirler. And she can't get anyone to pay attention to her. But her baton twirling's really good. She just needs something to catch people's attention. And she's like, oh my god, random woman who is Lightning, you are a fashion icon. And Lightning's like, I don't know anything about fashion. And I'm like, the thing is, in your character, it makes sense for you to not know anything about fashion, but in gameplay, you clearly do. This is a bit of a dissonance in this game. But yeah, Lightning's like, I don't know about fashion. And the girl's like, clearly you do. What I need you to do is show me a bunch of fashion accessories so I can be inspired. So you go get a bunch of fashion accessories, you show them to her, and then she... the screen fades to black and it comes back up and she's wearing like 3 or 4 different accessories, and you repeat this 2 more times, and each time she has more accessories on her. So eventually she has like a cat tail and like a chocobo on her shoulder and a big pendant around her neck and stuff. And she looks ridiculous. And you get soul juice from doing that for her.
It's great. Fun fact, there's actually more to that side quest. Before you even start the side quest, you might notice that there's an NPC nearby who's some guy. And he's like, oh my god, I love this baton twirler. Like, maybe I also think she's cute and have a crush on her, but also she's so talented, but like no one knows. So I always watch her twirl her baton, but no one else understands how good she is. Man, that's a damn shame. And I just thought that was a cute little bit of flavor. Turns out, after you finish this quest, she then like makes it big. So try going back the next day, and apparently that guy is now a quest giver, and there's a follow-up quest. I haven't done it yet, though.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
A lot of side quests in this game are very silly.
Yep. Also, something else, speaking of side quests, I meant to say this last week on the air, and I forgot to, so I apologize both to y'all and listeners. In order to get the true ending of this game, I don't know if that means it's like a big deal, or if it's just some little or if it's just some small little cutscene. I do not know the true nature of the ending, but in order to get an extra bonus ending, you need to complete 40 side quests. That's not as bad as it sounds. You've probably done a whole lot already. And yes, that does mean specifically anything that is called a side quest in your menu. There's main quest, there's side quest, and then there's whatever the community fucking board, right? Those don't count. So yeah. Go to your little side quest menu, click through, see how many you got check marks by, get that to be 40. I'm definitely going to be doing that. I think I'm already at like 33 or some shit. It shouldn't be that hard. You don't have to, but I'm just laying it out there.
So I'm looking at the internet. This one person says 51 side quests. Another person says 40 to 45 side quests. Another person says, hey, just so you know, I had the secret ending with only 40 side quests done, so yeah, it probably is 40.
Yeah, there seems to be some confusion, but I'm pretty sure most times people say it's not 40. Someone else is like, no, it's just 40. So whatever.
Just do a bunch of side quests.
Just do a bunch of side quests. If you want to do more, just to be safe, they're fun. A lot of them are really good. Cool. Also, for next week, so what we're going to do is, I'm trying to think, honestly. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to go to the Wildlands, and I'll let y'all pick. So there's 2 quests. There's 2 major main quests. Quest 3 and Quest 5. Here's the thing. You have to do like the first 2 or 3 steps of Quest 3 in order to do Quest 5. So we could do part of Quest 3 and then all of 5. Or we could just do all of 3. Why is that not the obviously better choice? At the end of Quest 3 is the boss that a lot of people say is easily the hardest boss in the entire game. I fought them and they annihilated my ass, and I was like, holy shit, this is hard. I do know it's easier if you get some things that we do now have. For example, the thing that we got from beating the Dead Dunes quest makes that battle a lot easier, for example. So we don't... Yeah, so what do y'all think? Do we want to just risk this super, super hard boss, or get a little goofy with it?
I think we should just plan on doing all of Main Quest 3. If we get to the final boss of Main Quest 3 and any of us can't do it, then we can just watch the end of Quest 3 on YouTube or something, and then go back and do it again after we do Quest 5.
Okay, that's a good idea. And I will say, for the record, either way, it's going to make the following week a little weird, because Quest 5 is... You know how games will do that thing where once you've explored the whole game's world and done pretty much all the content, they have a final quest that makes you just do backtracking and grab a bunch of little thingies? It's just that. It's like getting all the Triforce pieces in Wind Waker, so it's a very easy, fast quest. It's literally just go get these 5 things from various places in the world, and none of them require any effort. I've only gotten like 3 of them, but I already know what the other 2 are, and they're not hard, and... So the point is, it's going to be a very light week, so that could just be wrap up Quest 5 and do side quests, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I will try and do both 3 and 5 over the next week, and if 5 is as empty as it looks, like I'm looking at the guide right now, it only mentions a cutscene at the first one and at the last one. It might not be enough for an episode. If that seems to be the case, I'll let you guys know. And we might we could 3 and 5 tomorrow.
We could lump it at the end of 3 or at the beginning of whatever comes next, of the end game. So we'll figure it out. I just thought I'd let you know that gets a little weird. So, and if you're wondering how to access it, when you first, I don't remember the exact way that they alert you to the existence of Quest 3, but when you get to the Wildlands, there will be people talking about some special chocobo, and that's just pursue that line of thinking.
Yeah, which surely you were going to anyway.
Absolutely.
Right.
Upon hearing about a special chocobo, surely you would go after the special chocobo.
But I will say, when I think there's a special chocobo, my first thought is not, that's a main story quest. My first thought is, ooh, a side quest involving a chocobo. I like those. So, I thought I would at least just say that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But
all right, that is everything now.
Cool. So if you like what you heard and you want us to do more of these, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club, where you can make donations. Every donation goes into a big pot that unlocks more of these longcast and shortcast episodes. We are currently trying to unlock a shortcast on Metal Gear Solid, which I don't have it handy on how far we are. We are 46% of the way there. So if you want us to do a series on Metal Gear Solid, you can go and donate there. After Metal Gear Solid, spoilers, is going to be Dragon Quest VII, which will be the first time that it actually is a big video game and not a trilogy. So super excited for that one. Go and help us unlock and play these cool long-ass games. We recently opened the ability to subscribe in membership tiers. So the basic level is $1 per month. If you make a one-off donation or subscribe for a month, you get for the month you can access the Book Club no Kaseki episodes a month before everybody else. You can vote on the polls that dictate what game we're going to play next for the main podcast. And if you have your Discord linked to Ko-Fi, you get a green nickname in the Discord. But then if you bump up your donation to $5 a month, you get at the Warrior tier, which is all the things of the previous tier, but we shout your name out at the end. So shout out to Cerebral Wind, Anthony Lerma, Vimk, Jfro Prime, Eli Bergmas, Doho, and Tuxedo Ken. We also have, for people who love us a whole lot, a $20 tier, which is the same thing, except we'll shout out a URL or any 2-sentence shout out you want. Our current luminary Carr is a dentist, so his shout out is not for his Twitch stream, but for your teeth. So brush your teeth twice a day, most importantly, before you go to bed at the end of the night. For RPG Book Club Longcast, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm David Bernard Hauk.
And I'm Maddie Grace Webben.
Toodaloo, folks.
Goodbye, everybody.